Put it on this computer. It's on you. Okay, so as I was saying, I got test graded. There should be some sort of way to look at your grading somehow. I know it's a little bit different from the homework and the tests. The homework, I believe, you just look on Blackboard and it should have notations or marks on there on your paper somehow. If you're not getting 100, it should have some sort of marks on there. The test, it's in the response to the learner. So I should have like copied and pasted your test up into the response to the learner as a PDF with marks on it. And if I didn't, let me know, because I have it. I accidentally did someone else's. Let me know that. Oh, you're gonna make me copy that again. Oh wait, everyone. That's what I was meant to do, not just one person. Okay.
I just looked and it says that you need a PDF, and
Yeah, I sent you an email the
I
day
must have
test.
missed the email.
I need a PDF. I can't grade a video file.
It wouldn't let me take pictures and put it in. So I was forced to make a video. I was having all sorts of problems that day.
You could have came and talked to me in the classroom the day of. I have to have a PDF to grade. If you can give me a PDF, then I can grade it. Like I could try to compare it to the video, but like I can't grade a video. It's
yeah,
not the form.
I'll see what I can do. Okay.
Yeah, because I have a video of you doing the test. As long as it matches what's on the video, like that's the thing.
Yeah, it'll match.
Okay.
I just need to find the test again. I have like a pile of all the homework papers because I have to print everything out. So it's like 100 pages right there. I go find it now.
Oh yeah. Okay, we are definitely about to start. So I hope you can see and hear this video. Should be able to.
You can cultivate one that embraces.
Yes, we see the video.
There are two types of mindset we can cultivate. One that embraces problems as opportunities.
Y'all can hear it too, right?
Yes.
Okay, y'all can volume. Okay, that's the thing I was
There are
wondering.
two types of
Thanks.
mindset we can cultivate. One that embraces problems as opportunities to learn, and one that avoids them, often out of fear to fail. People that avoid conflicts can be described as having a fixed mindset. Those who see problems as interesting challenges have a growth mindset. Sometimes we like to switch from one to the other. People have a fixed mindset because they believe that basic qualities like intelligence or talents are fixed traits, and that these traits are responsible for success. They often like to document past achievements. With a growth mindset, people believe that new abilities can be developed through practice. This view creates the love for learning that most great leaders and artists have in common. For them, life becomes an exciting journey with endless opportunity to figure out new things and advance. To develop a growth mindset, Dr. Carol Dweck, the the Stanford University professor who coined the term, advises leaders, teachers, and parents to celebrate trying. Teachers should applaud students for any grade if they studied hard. Parents should encourage their children to develop any new skill they are interested in. Doing this will make them learn the skill of learning, which will also help them back in the classroom. To illustrate the difference in everyday life, let's observe two imaginary kids. Jay thinks you've either got it or you haven't. Anne knows that she can learn anything if she wants it enough. At physical exercise, Jay avoids challenges. When it's time to jump over the vaulting horse, he's afraid to look stupid and be laughed at. Anne embraces any challenge. It's exciting, it's fun. She knows that failing is part of learning, and if she tries hard, at the end, nobody will laugh at her. Jay avoids feedback. If the teacher tells him how to improve an assignment he has been working on, he takes it personally. Anne knows that to improve, she needs to listen to constructive criticism. She also understands that it's not her that is being assessed, but the results of her work on that one day. Jay always takes the easy road. For example, he likes escalators and hates to take the stairs. When he is practicing the guitar, he stops the moment he's getting stuck. Anne usually doesn't even take escalators. She jumps up the stairs, counts every step in her head, and enjoys feeling the blood rushing through her veins. She practices the drums every morning for 15 minutes. Not that she always enjoys it, but she knows that effort is part of a journey to a more fun life. Anne likes to see others succeed. It inspires her. She knows that if she motivates her friends to get better, she herself is likely to grow too. If his friends try new things and succeed, Jay feels threatened. He's afraid that their success will put pressure on him to do more with his life too. Modern companies look for employees with a growth mindset because they solve problems and persist despite obstacles. To spot the right ones, some ask during the interview whether the job applicant believes if managers are born or if management is a skill learned. Jay thinks that managers are born. Anne gets the job. Neuroscientists support the idea. They confirm that the brain grows like any other muscle in the body, with training. Studies show that adopted twins tend to have higher intelligence compared to their siblings who stayed with their biological parents. The difference appears to come from the higher educational levels of adoptive parents and shows that nurture is more important than nature. A simple switch in how a person views a situation can mean the world of difference. Not just the outcome of that situation, the outcome of that person's place in life. As the late poet Samuel Beckett once said, "Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail better." What do you think about the concept? Is it overly simplistic? And if you buy the idea, do you believe it is possible to make a permanent switch from a fixed to a growth mindset? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below.
Okay. Stop sharing my screen just for a second. What's happening? Are you seeing weird things? Is someone saying that? Anybody?
Little gray bars on the screen, but they're gone now.
Okay. Anybody ever hear of this concept? Growth versus fixed mindset is a dichotomy. Dweck, D-W-E-C-K. You have?
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I've learned about fixed and growth mindset, and like what you can do to change your mindset from a fixed to a growth.
Yeah, and yeah, I was just trying to put this out. Maybe it's a good time, maybe it's a bad time. I think it's probably a good time, especially right after you get your first test back, to probably put out a video like that. And so what was I going to say? Why would I show it in a math class? Can you Can you wonder why I would show that in a math class? Any reason at all?
Because we're here to grow our minds.
Exactly. You don't always have to be correct, right? That's why I put so much emphasis on like just try something. Like so much of math is not about being correct. It's about doing the wrong thing and learning why it's the wrong thing. You have to do the wrong thing. It's just like one of those things in life we get like penalized every time we do something wrong, right? So there's like this real hesitancy, and like I see it like quite a bit. It's like math aversion, right? People have it. They get the pencil hover and they just get scared to write something. Like don't do that to yourself. You can be wrong on like homework on stuff, right? Like when we're going through homework, be wrong as you want when we go through these slides. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but you know what I'm saying.
Does anyone else see the gray boxes on their Zoom, or is that just my computer?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I thought I
yeah.
had to
I see it
refresh
too.
mine.
Okay, let me
I was
see
wondering
if
what the hell that was.
if I do share screen. If I don't share for video clips, it might be what it's doing. Does that fix it?
Yeah, they're gone.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was because I was sharing it for a video clip. It does something weird. I don't know why. But yeah, so but I think there's also that conception that there's like math people, right? And I don't think there's a such thing as math people. There's people that are good at math to a certain point, but like you really have to study it to get good at it. People can have certain proclivities, I think, right? Or they can have certain maybe advantages in the beginning, but I don't know. When you see like those prodigies, right? If a prodigy never studies or whatever, they usually don't progress past a certain point, especially if it's one of those prodigies whose parents are pushing them, right? And then they get a mind of their own and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore once they hit like teenager. It's like there's a lot of those sorts of studies. Okay, so a quick recap. I hope you take that with you, and I hope you don't think I'm perfect either. Part of the reason why I share that is because it's something I think about. It's something I question what sort of approach I'm bringing to things quite often. So no one called me out on that, but it's totally true. Like I'm not perfect. I totally think about these things and try to fix myself, you know. But here we go. What were we doing? 2A, we were doing some unit analysis. So like 2A and 2B, we were doing some unit analysis. We did like metric, we did standard to metric. So we had all those tables that we introduced in 2A and 2B. So that was unit analysis stuff. 3A, we started talking about percentages, uses and abuses of percentages. Oh, excuse me. And 3B, I got it just a second. Putting numbers into perspective was what 3B was about. So that was different powers of 10. There was a week somewhere in there that we missed, I feel like. And then there's a week and a half before that we missed. So trying to bring up the memory. Okay, but 3B was numbers into perspective. That was like powers of 10, scientific notation, things and that sort of nature is what we're doing. Moving decimal places. 3C was something we didn't do. And 3D, so is what we're in today. So 3D is then the index numbers. So we're going to talk about the CPI, the Consumer Product and Price Index. Sorry, Consumer Price Index. And so what we are doing is we are comparing the general sort of cost of goods. And so they select a certain amount of goods and they look at a price index for that year and they compare basically prices across years. And so there was a formula in the book, but there's a few ways to write this or to figure this out. But if someone needs $25,000 to maintain a certain standard of living in 1986, how much would be needed to maintain that same standard of living in 2016? So what it sounds like is we are going from 1986, which is down here, and we're going to 2016. I believe that's 240 even on 2016. I believe there's a slide right after this that has the formula in it. So try to remember that formula. If you can't remember the formula, you can try to write maybe equivalent fractions, if that helps. That's the way I would personally think about it coming at this problem. Like if I hadn't taught this class before and I just saw this problem, I'd probably just think equivalent fractions. So we're going from 1986 and we're going to compare 1986 to
All I did was find the difference between the two in the CPI.
It shouldn't be difference. It should be a multiple.
So I should multiply them.
It should be something with multiplication or division. Yep.
Okay.
You have what, 25K and what did I say 86? This thing's in my way. Yeah. I'm gonna grab my calculator. And if you just round this to the nearest whole dollar. So hopefully you put a dollar sign on there. I do believe you have to round this up if you do it correctly.
I feel like I messed up, but I tried.
That's an important thing. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds on this one. Okay, so I think I got this one spelled out. I want to say there's a few of them that are like pretty similar to this. I think we'll get one more. $54, $745. What are y'all telling me? 54. Yeah, they're rounding it way up. That's right. So it looks like some people are rounding it, but getting close. Some people are off. Okay, so what are we doing to find this number? It should be 54,745, right? Was the correct response. So if we need 25K to maintain the standard of living in 86 versus 2016, the two numbers you pick from the table hopefully are the 109.6 and the what, 240. Come on, slide. Okay, so this was a formula that they give us in the book. If we want to find the price in 2016, we take the price in 1986. So you have to make sure like the CPI on the bottom here is the same date as the price here. So these two dates should be the same. It hopefully makes sense when we think about like unit analysis. The other way you can do this is equivalent sort of fractions. So if I do what? Price in 1986 on bottom here. So if I divide this thing over is essentially what I'd be doing. And I have this price in 2016 over the price in 86. CPI in 2016 compared to the CPI in 86. If you want to write equivalent fractions and do your little butterflies, that's one way you can do these problems as well, right? When we get equivalent fractions, do the little butterfly thing. Or you can use the formula. Either way, as with math, there's usually multiple ways to get there. Some of them correct, some of them not. You got to figure out which. So price in 2016 is what we want to figure out. We have the price in 86 is the 25K. And we pulled these two numbers from the table. So the CPI in 2016 was 240, and it's going over 109.6. And the final thing is multiplying those things together. That's an exact amount. I guess I went to the nearest penny there. Questions about this formula? Hopefully you saw this formula at least once. If you watched the notes, you should have seen it a few times. Okay, moving on. And I think this is pretty much the exact same problem, now with a different year. If I recall correctly, we're using the same table. What is the overall increase in prices due to inflation as a percentage from 1995 to 2005? Okay. So this is a little bit different. They want to know what inflation is. So how do we find inflation? What is that? And we talked last time in, what was that, 3A, about relative change and absolute change. Do you remember those things?
Vaguely, I vaguely remember. I get confused.
Okay, so we do like new minus old, right? This is how we do that. Do the absolute changes like new minus old, and then we do relative changes like new minus old divided by where we started. So new minus old divided by old. Do y'all remember those words? It's been a week.
Yes, I remember those words.
Okay, so we want to do relative change. That is what inflation is. So if we want to find inflation, that is like finding the relative change. And they want to go from 95 to 2005. So it looks like I'm going from 152.4 to 195.3. This table's kind of weird. They hack it the year and it comes around. You got to look to the right of the year to get the number. Make sure you're looking in the right direction.
We're just dividing those two numbers, right? Because we're trying to figure out
Difference.
Yeah.
So you have to subtract and divide. So new minus old divided by old.
I knew I messed up somewhere. Like once I turned it in, I knew I messed up.
That's the worst. It's like the minute you hit submit, you're just like, wait, no, I did something wrong and I can't go back.
I know, right?
That is the absolute worst. I hate that.
I want to say I did it to the nearest percent on here, the nearest whole percent. So find the relative change. That's going to be your inflation.
You know what? It's like the ride over run scenarios where you are trying to find like the slope between. It's like that.
Mm,
Right.
yeah, it's got, it's similar, but it doesn't have subtraction on the bottom, right? I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that. But,
I hope I did it right.
and now we pray that we did the math right this time.
It's like this is where you cross your fingers. This is where you bring out the lucky rabbit's foot. It's like, did I do it right? The lucky horseshoes. Did I do it right?
Find a 4-leaf clover and pray. No, I think I found a 4-leaf clover once in my life. Another time
Dude,
I was like,
I took a trip to Ireland and I was hunting for those.
oh my god, I've always wanted to go to Ireland or Scotland.
It's beautiful. Highly recommend, especially when this whole pandemic is over.
Yes, I will visit these places. And then I will try to find the elusive leprechaun.
We're on the hunt for those too.
Oh man, did you ever watch those movies, the Leprechaun movies? Those are really horrible
Yes.
horror movies. But they had God, I can't remember.
The one by Disney where the whole family's a bunch of leprechauns and they get their treasure stolen.
The Luck of the Irish.
I love that movie so much. I'm so happy someone else
Okay.
knows that movie.
Okay, this is a good conversation. Well, let's get through this.
Oh, that's right. We have math.
Okay, I think most people answered that are going to answer. I think 5 people are probably falling asleep, logged in. So finding the relative change. Oh, I did it to 2 decimal places. 28%. If you got me 28%, that's what I'm really want to see. 78's a little high. I think you did the absolute difference, right? Or you just divided one by the other if you got 78.
Yeah, I think that's what I ended up doing by accident. I got mixed up in my
So
stats.
the increase is 28%. So it would be like a 28% increase, but it would be like 78% of, if that makes sense. That was the of versus like greater than thing I think that we were talking about. Okay, next slide. Finding this thing. I have it. I kind of told you how to do this, but here it is. It's the 2 CPIs. We subtract them when we divide it. New minus old divided by old is the relative difference. If we want to know inflation, it is the relative difference of your CPIs. That is how much things are going up or down across the years.
Oh, I messed up then. I was thinking something completely different in my head. I did it like out of order by accident. Dang it.
I did the old divided by the new.
Oh, yeah. So you got to be careful which one is your old or your reference. So, yeah, if you divide by the 195, you're definitely going to go and get it.
That's how I got 78.
Yeah.
And then I multiplied by 100.
Yep. Just got to flip them, right? Okay, housing price index. Realtors use an index to compare housing prices in major cities. The housing price index values for several cities are given in this table. So what we're going to do, oh, I have it written on here. I guess you can't see it. Is it visible on my formula is going off the page, I think.
You mean the formula?
Yeah, it should be price in other town equals the price in your town. And then it's the index of the other town over the index in your town. I think if you look on your device, you could probably see it. Yeah, it's like kind of squeezed in there. Not the best.
Yeah, we see it. It's just very squeezed.
Yeah.
How come Texas ain't here?
For a house value, that I don't know. They don't care.
They don't care about Austin.
No,
They got Dallas though. Should we use Dallas?
I guess so. For if you're gonna do something in Texas, I guess you have to use Dallas. If you want to do for a household at 400K in Phoenix, find the price of a comparable house in Miami. So I'm hoping you don't use any of those and you use the Miami and Phoenix numbers. 161 and 122 is what I'm hoping you're picking up off that table.
New minus old divided by old?
This is that formula that I have there. So price in other town. So we want to find what Miami prices.
Yeah.
So I think Miami's your other town. I think Phoenix is the town you're currently in at 400K. So try to use that formula if we want to find the price in Miami.
Okay. Big brain.
This one is really similar to that first one with the CPIs, I think.
The
But-
words on the formula are squished so tightly together. I thought it was just one word for a minute. I was like, what is that? Oh, wait, no, it's separate.
Yeah, and this is in the book too. If you want to look at the formula in the book, I just copy and copy and paste it. I had to do the text stuff, but this should be really similar to that first problem we did, except for CPIs. Now they're using house price indexes. It's still an index number. It's still the same concept.
So just so I don't make a mistake, we're using Phoenix and Miami, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to move from Phoenix to Miami. So we're starting with the 400K house in Phoenix.
I think I did it right for once, and that is a lot of money for one house.
Probably. It should be more, right? If you think about things, it's like, is it going to cost more in Phoenix or more in Miami? Should be costing you more in Miami. And I think
So Miami, we're using Miami for your town, right?
the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Although I think it doesn't really matter. I think you can flip them. I think it's just easier to figure out if you let Miami be the other town.
Okay.
You could probably do some back solving if you
I
really
was
want
right.
to.
And I
But
just
I figure y'all probably want to do as least work as possible. So I think I have it to the nearest dollar if I remember correctly. Nearest whole dollar. Is that what it said? Yeah. Oh, I might want to mention we got test 2 coming up. Is that next week already? I think.
Yeah, it's next week.
My other class has theirs this week. I believe y'all's is next week. Is it next week Monday? I believe.
It's next week, Monday. I marked it on my calendar, the 29th.
Okay. So
That's
I
also
should be getting the same deal. There's a quiz. So be sure to work through the quiz. Submit a PDF of the quiz. I will try to get like a quizzes up is what I was trying to say. To hopefully help you with that a little bit.
I took pictures. I didn't know how to convert it to a PDF file from JPEG, but is JPEG okay?
So if you do the Genius Scan app, I think it talks about it in the syllabus if you need that link. But if you just Google Genius Scan, like in the Apple or Google store, you should see that app. It's a really good app.
I'll try again.
It's a really good app for getting everything in one PDF. But if you can't get it with the PDF, if you have to send me a JPEG, I don't want to say it, but I can convert it if you have to. I just don't want to have
If
to.
it works, I will make another email and send you the JPEG version. Oh, no wonder I can't download it. It says this application requires iOS 13 or later.
What does that mean?
It means my phone is too outdated for it.
Oh,
Yeah, I ran into that problem with my stuff when I was going to school.
do you have
I'm very
an
sorry
iPad?
I can't get the Genius.
Okay, what are y'all telling me? 527-869. What are y'all telling me? 527-869. Is that what everyone's saying? 528. It looks like you're just rounding it to the nearest thousandths. It looks like you're getting in it. Looks like you off by a factor of 10 somewhere. Maybe you missed the number. But that looks like pretty much it. It looks like a lot of people are kind of hitting it. It looks like there's a few people that are off. But I got this broken down. Look at here. So this is the formula that was on the previous page that you couldn't read. But the price in Miami is the price in Phoenix times this fraction of the index Miami over index in Phoenix. So we can compare Miami to Phoenix here, Miami to Phoenix here, and we can do equivalent fractions if you wanted to. This is the same thing as equivalent fractions, just with the denominator moved over, basically. But if we do this, we're going to end up multiplying 400K. And even like if you think about this number, if it's the bigger number over the smaller number, this thing should get larger overall, right? So if you're getting a smaller number, if you accidentally flip these, you'd be getting a smaller number. So sometimes take just a second. I know you're freaking out because you're probably in a math test or something, but take just a second and think about whether your answer really makes sense, like in reality, to what's being asked sometimes. Because sometimes I can tell y'all are just freaking out and you don't even look at your answer, or you're just done with it. I don't know what it is. One or the other. It's just like that makes no sense to what's that being asked. I have had some of those. I don't know where you're going. Okay, so full question view. What does it say? Healthcare spending, total spending on healthcare in the US rose from 85 billion in 77 to 3.2 trillion in 2015. Compare the relative change in healthcare spending to the overall rate of inflation as measured by the CPI. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is find the relative change in healthcare spending. So we're going to have to know what relative change is again. We're going from 85 billion to 3.2 trillion. Did I even put the CPI thing on here? No, I'll bring up the CPI thing later. We don't need it for this question. We will need it for the next part of this question, I believe. So we want to know the relative change in healthcare spending. So we want to know the relative change from what, 85 billion to 3.2 trillion. There's a few ways to do it. But you do have to account for the fact that this is billions and this is trillions. Personally, I would convert this to billions. 3.2 trillion is how many billion, and then you might be able to save yourself a little bit. So relative change should be a percentage. This one, it's going up a lot. So the nearest whole percent, I believe, is what I did this in. All right, so remember relative difference is the new minus old over old. Is this thing just lagging? Okay. I think y'all are answering. I think this thing's just lagging. No. 4 people answered. No, full question, guys. I'm in here. So we want to do the relative change from 85 billion to 3.2 trillion. If you want to write out all the zeros, I guess you could do that. I would probably try to work it a little different, but it'll work. And again, try something. We have done relative change. You shouldn't like sort of know, or at least be able to try something. So I think we're going to compare healthcare spending, and then I think we compare education expenses. That's the people. I'll give you a few more seconds. I feel like I should be getting this. We've done enough like sort of relative difference between two numbers. These numbers might be a little bit tricky because they're big. But like I said, if you could just convert 3.2 trillion to a billion, I think if you convert it to what? 3,200 or 2 zeros and subtract the 2, I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it. It should be a really big percentage. I think it's, if I did it right, like 3,665%. I think is what I'm getting. What are y'all telling me? If you did 38%, you didn't convert it to a percentage. So you still got to multiply it by 100. 665. Yes.
I forgot to multiply.
Oh, you'll tell me both of them in a big sentence. Okay. So I was just doing the relative change in this one. The next one, we're going to do CPI. So if we want to do relative change, this is sort of like what I mentioned. You could write out all the zeros if you really wanted to, or you could just kind of account for the fact that things are in billions, right? Is another way to say it. So if I just mark through what do they got? 369. They all got 9 zeros in common. I get that thing on the right. If you subtract these, you get something like 36. If you multiply by 100, we get to 3,665%. So what does this mean? It went up almost 36 times to the amount, I think is what that means. Something along those lines. Questions about this? We talked about relative change. This is just another example of relative change, but now we're doing really big numbers. The next thing is we're going to do the relative change of the consumer price index, and we're going to call that thing inflation. And so we want to find inflation from, oh God, I forgot my years, 77 to 2015. 77, which looks like 60.6 to 2015, which is 237. And this is a pretty big one as well.
Are
That's-
we using the same equation from the last slide or from?
Yeah,
the
it's basically the same like relative difference equation, if that's what
Okay.
you're asking. It is the relative difference between what, 60.6 and 237. Do it to the nearest whole percent. And then we can talk about maybe what it means. Oh, it says 3. It says people. It does a weird count when it shows, when I do the table. Okay. This should hopefully take you a minute, like not a whole lot longer. Okay. So subtract the two numbers, divide the two numbers, multiply that number by what, 100 to get the percent. Anybody else can chime in? Okay, we have done relative difference enough. I don't want to spend all day on this problem. If we take the relative difference of these two things, what are y'all telling me? I'm wondering if did y'all flip them maybe? And do them the other way. It should be 291%. I think if you flip them, you might get the 100. Is that what you're doing? What happens if you flip them? If we do 237, if you flipped them and did the wrong reference, or that's the difference, I think you get 74%. Okay. So this is how we find the relative difference between the CPIs. It's the two subtracted divided by the new minus old divided by old. And so what we notice is we're getting what, 291%. So how does 291% compare to 3,665%? What is that telling us about healthcare?
It's just gotten more expensive.
It's got more what?
Expensive?
She
Oh yeah,
said,
it got more expensive, and it got more expensive a lot quicker, right? It's just too damn expensive is what this is telling me. Healthcare is getting way too expensive at a way higher rate than other things are even increasing, right? Is what this is saying. Other things are increasing about 300%, and this is increasing about 3,000%. It's increasing way up there. Not in sync with everything else, right? It's just shooting up there ridiculously. Full question view is what I was looking. Okay, same thing. I think this is a very similar sort of problem, but now instead of healthcare, we're doing private college cost. And according to the College Board, the average tuition and fees at a private four-year college and universities, they've increased from $83.96 in 1990 to $33,480 for, we're going to say 2016 is what our table goes up to. But this one, we don't need the table. We just need the relative change in private college cost over that period of time. And then the next question is exactly the same, just, oh, NERTIST. Okay, so I put an extra T in there apparently, but that's great. The NERTIST percent. So calculate the relative change. We're talking about the 83.96 to the 33.480. So we did this over again. We're about to do this over and over again. So at some point, I hope you realize this might be an important concept. At some point. Don't forget to round that up. The nearest percent. But we did this over again. I'm hoping it gets down a little bit better each time. Maybe you're just a smidgen quicker, the next time we do it.
New minus old divided by old.
Exactly. And then we got to do a little converting to percent, but that's basically it. So I think one of the main things people do is they'll flip those numbers, right? The new and the old. That's probably one of the more common mistakes. Dividing by the wrong one is what happens. Okay, I'll give y'all like 30 more seconds. Like these should be getting like a little bit quicker each time.
Hey, we might actually finish on time for once. Because it usually takes us like an hour over or something.
I feel like you just jinxed it and now it's just gonna go downhill.
I know, I'm so sorry.
It's like, why did I open my mouth? I was 1 off, are you kidding me?
What'd you get, 298?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was my problem too. I forgot to round.
I would have gave it to you. It's just computer's picky. So it should have been 299. When we subtract those two, get the number.
At least I know I was right.
Wait. Who? We got like 5 people. What are y'all answering? Oh yeah, I answered 298. That's right. So it looks like maybe most people that answered. Whoa, I didn't know. That is the next page, huh? All right, good to know. I hit the wrong button, but okay, fair enough. We were done with that one. So let's do this. We want to find inflation from. I didn't even read those years. From 1990 to 2016. So I believe 1990 is where, right here. I think I see 130.7. This one is 240 even. 2016 should be 240. I know that little button's in the way. So relative change, 130.7 to 240. And I will give y'all maybe like 30 more seconds to a minute. Nearest whole percent. Same deal.
Could you give me like a few seconds longer? I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so going from 137 to 240. Doing the relative change there. So should be getting 84%. What else are y'all telling me? 83%.
I did something completely wrong then.
Yeah, I think it'll give me the money amount or something.
I messed up.
I can't even. Why does it not let me scroll on this? Like this slide is frozen.
Try refreshing.
There we go.
I tried.
What are y'all telling me? 84. Okay, so I think quite a few people are getting that. Okay. And so I went kind of fast. I didn't compare that. What was the first percentage we got? The inflation was 84%, but that first number was like way larger, wasn't it?
The first number from the last question was 299.
299% versus 84%. So that
Yeah.
was private colleges. So private colleges look like they're going like at what? 200% versus 84% was the inflation. So they're definitely like increasing way more than inflation. Same question, different numbers, different. Now instead of private, we're talking about public college. Same problem basically. Even the same dates. So if you remember 84%, that's going to be probably the next one, right? We already did that one. So we want to find the relative increase in the college cost. So this is, I'll give you a minute to do it. But finding the relative increase in college cost. And we talked about it, said it over and over again, but new minus old over old. Multiply by 100 to get to a percent. Going from 1780 to 9650. We want to find the relative change. And yeah, we already did the CPI from 1990 to 2016. That was the previous problem. It was the previous problem, and it's going to be the next problem. It didn't change. But this one, so what are we doing? We can kind of compare this to the private one, right? What'd y'all say? It was like 199% increase on the private one. How does it compare to public? I guess it was like 442. Is that what I'm getting? So we're talking
Yeah,
about 200 versus 400.
Adding up for me. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm doing the steps correctly, but every time I put it in the calculator, it's giving me something completely different.
Are you getting 4.42?
I didn't even get that at all. Like mine was like it wasn't even a whole. It was like a 0.30, and I was like, what had happened?
Did you
Okay.
multiply it by 100?
Yeah, I multiplied it by 100. That was the final one, the 0.30 that I ended up getting. I don't know how.
So if we take 9650, right, and we subtract what, 1780?
Yes.
It should be giving me that 7870. Is that what it's giving me?
Hang on. Let me.
And I want to do this over the original, which is 1780. So what I'm seeing is I want to do, come on, drawing pin, this fraction right here.
Oh,
My
I don't know why it gave me. Okay, now it gives me that. I don't know why
Okay.
why I got something different. It's stupid. I hate it.
Bad calculator.
Bad calculator. And it can't be that I've dropped it at all. It can't be that. That's literally a calculator I bought less than a year ago.
Yeah, it shouldn't be messing up like that. That'd be pretty atypical. I hadn't come across one of them. Okay, same thing. Oh man, I'll give you all 30 seconds because we already did this one. Overall rate of inflation as measured by the CPI. This was 84%. We already did this one.
Okay, this is the 84 one.
Yeah, we did this one before. I don't want to beat a
This is
dead
gonna be
horse.
right.
That that saying.
Why is there like the
It's
same
a-
question popping up?
Who is it like? You ever think about like who comes up with those like colloquialisms, those little sayings like beat a dead horse? It's like,
Or like
Yeah. Like,
you
like
don't need to-
age-old adage, stuff like that.
yeah.
it came up for some reason.
Those are like, those are super confusing too to people that are learning English. It's like when you have those little colloquialisms, it's like,
They're like,
why are you beating a dead horse? I don't understand.
Like, where's the similarity in this? Just go with it, man.
it doesn't rain cats and dogs. It doesn't make sense.
Oh my goodness. That actually reminds me of an old book I read. It was my favorite in elementary. I forgot the title. I think it was like Amelia of Delia or something like that. And she could not get her idioms correct.
Yeah, that's it. It's Amelia.
Yeah.
Who did we talk about this? This was 84%, right? I don't want to talk.
Yeah, you flat out gave us the answer for that one.
Yeah. Well, you already did it in the previous one. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want to. That's where the dead horses started popping up. Okay, so the price of gold. Oh, never ending story. Don't watch that one. The price of gold. The price of gold in end of year closing price in dollars per troy ounce is shown in the table below. The prices shown in the table are not adjusted for inflation. Revise the above tables to express all prices in terms of 2016 dollars. So I believe I have 4 different numbers I'm looking looking for here. They're all dollar amounts, and I have them separated with just a comma. So I want 4 numbers. There is a lot of figuring out here. The last one you don't have to figure out. So the goal of this is to convert things to 2016 dollars. We're taking this table. We're going to take 391. So I'm looking at 1986. So I think I want to use 109.6 and 240 and 391. And it should be making it larger, I believe. You should be getting a larger number if that helps. But this is sort of like that first problem, that formula from that first problem. It is very similar. We're comparing 2 prices across time. So you can use that formula. You can use similar fractions. Either way, you should be able to get the number.
No matter what, we are using 2016.
Yeah, we're going to convert this to 2016. We're going to convert this to 2016. We're going to convert this number to 2016. And then the last one, 1152 is already in 2016. So the last number in your set of numbers should be 1152, if that helps.
No.
But the setup is really similar. When you get one, look at your setup and think about what needs to change, if that helps. 291.
I feel like I just did the numbers for the wrong thing. So I'm doing it again.
Yeah, I try it. If you don't think you did it right, try it again. Try something else before I move on. But I'm pretty sure I got this one broken down on the next page, if I remember correctly.
I have like 0 confidence in what I'm doing. I'm just hoping I don't mess it up too badly.
This seems better. But I don't know.
We shall see.
Indeed. And I dropped a rank, so I know I'm wrong. So sometimes I drop a rank and I'm right.
That's the worst. I hate picky things.
And I think it's just the nearest whole dollar, right? Is what I said.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Round to the nearest whole dollar. Just 4 separate entries. It should be 4 numbers with a comma between each of them. And hopefully you put a $sign on there.
4 numbers.
What?
Yep, I'm wrong. You said 4 numbers. I got 3.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. Can you please help me?
The last one, it should be 1152. You already have it.
1152.
Should be the last number because we're converting these all. We're converting them all to $2016.
Does it have
Oh, okay.
inventory page?
Just try something. We'll do it next. I'll break it down in a minute.
Thank you.
If it's, I'm pretty sure it's broken down on the next page, and if it's not, I would definitely break it down. Okay. I mean, it's like I don't trying to squeeze this problem into this format, and this, being honest, quizzes isn't always the best, but it's there and it's free and it does work. So, but trying to squeeze a table into this quizzes without making it 5 different problems, you know. I think we're taking 391 and I think we're multiplying it by what, 240 over 109.6. I think we do the same thing with this one. We take 369, we multiply it by the fraction of what, 240 over 156.9. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I just zoom in my eyes, make sure I was looking at the right number. Same thing, we take 636, we multiply it by 240 divided by 201.6. And then the last thing, if you really wanted to convert it, I guess you could. You're doing 1152 and you multiply it by 240 over 240. You're going to multiply it by 1. It's already in 2016 dollars is what that tells me. Are people submitting something? We got one more question after we convert this table. And it's like, am I going to make money or lose money sort of question.
I accidentally hit submit after I only did one, so
Are y'all submitting? Is it? There you go. 6 people submitted. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. I've done that a few times myself. I get too excited, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand, so I just sent in 1, and it is most likely wrong.
All right. Well, I mean, you can try it. You still got a few minutes. Okay, I'll give y'all just a minute longer. Come on. All right, so there are quite a few numbers in this one. Ooh, someone got it. Well, 856 is 564, 757, 1152. What are y'all telling me? Looks pretty good. 856 looks like y'all were on the right path. Some of y'all. There we go. Those look good. Looks like there were a few that got it correct, and the machine's just being really picky. So let's look at these, and I think I kind of said these out loud, but if you're like me, someone saying it out loud is not the same as it having written out. I definitely like to see things written out. But this is what I was saying. So if we want to find 2016 prices, I'm going to start with price in what, 86? CPI in 2016 and the CPI in 86 I'm grabbing from this table. So the price in 86 is the 391, and then I'm grabbing numbers from the table. So 240 is the CPI in 2016, 109.6 is the CPI in 86. I multiply these numbers, I divide them. I should be getting 85620. The next one, instead of 391, it switches to what, 369. I believe my 240 is going to stay the same, but now I switch this CPI to the 96 one, which is 156.9. So this is converting the 1996 price. The next one would be converting the what, 2006 price. So I'm throwing in 636 from the price. 240 is still my CPI in 2016. 201.6 is my CPI in 2006. So those were the three numbers I was looking for, along with the fourth one that's given to you in the table. With that said, I think we have one more question to answer, I believe. Oh, look, I put my 2016 prices down there just for reference. If we bought 3 ounces of gold in 2006 and we sold it in 2016, would you expect to see a profit? Are you going to make money if you do that? If I buy here and sell here, am I going to make money? Or am I going to lose money? No, because prices are going up. You're going to make money, right? Is there anywhere I'm going to lose money? I think there's only like one scenario you're going to lose money, right? Is if I think you buy here and you sell either here or here. So if you buy when it's like 800 and you sell when it's 500, you want to buy low, sell high to make money, right? Basically, you want the value to go up. And so that is kind of this problem they're trying to get at, is that you have to put things in the same year's price, right? We have to put everything in a 2016 price so that we can kind of account for inflation. So now we're not looking at the factor of inflation in here anymore. We've accounted for inflation. And so we can actually see whether we're actually making money or not. And we're kind of, what do I want to say, ruling out the factor of inflation by putting it all in the same year. Because right here, if you buy it here and you sell here, it looks like you're making money, but you're actually not, because you're due to inflation. So if we're just looking at the price without adjusting it to the year, you can miss certain things like that, and you can believe you're making money when you're not actually making money. But here we should be making money on this one. Questions about that? Last question. All right, so that's all I got. That's the homework for today. Be sure to stick around. You got one more section.
You did it. You ended on
One more
time.
section before test.
We
I-
did it.
I tried to end on time. I
Good
know I'm not
job.
good at it.
I think this is the first time since the beginning of the semester that that's happened.